welcome to That's What We Think with Connie and Steve. Hi, Steve. How are you?
How are you, Connie?
Oh, I actually feel like an old lady today.
Oh, because your arms you were mentioning.
Yes. Well, I got old people vaccines.
You said you got what did you get? You got shingles?
I didn't get shingles. I got the
Shingrix.
Shinrix.
Yeah, yeah.
So I
Oh
won't get
God.
shingles. I'm at that age where I need
I
a
know.
shingles vaccine.
Well, here's a shout out to everybody. Everybody should get this this vaccine because you really, really don't want
No,
shingles. You really don't.
no.
And
I
they're actually
remember when
saying,
my grandmother had it,
yeah,
and it was very, very painful
yeah.
and not something that anyone really wants to
Did
deal
it
with.
knock you
So,
out? Did it make you tired?
what,
The
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 vaccine?
vaccine, yeah.
Oh God, no. No, I never have any reaction, knock on wood, to any of that. It's the only thing that it did was I usually sleep on my back.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. I got shingles on one side, tetanus on the other.
Okay.
So both sides, though, if I wanted to sleep on my side, but I'm like, oh, I'll be fine. Of course, last night, my body's like, no, let's be side sleepers today. I'm like, oh my God, I cannot sleep on my side. Wouldn't matter how many times I'm like, I roll back onto my back and I'm like, no,
You're lucky though. At least for the most part, you get it, you have a moment of pain, you deal with it, and then it goes away.
yeah,
When I get these vaccines, you know how they always have the disclaimers that say, you'll get
what
this,
could
this, this, this,
happen?
this, this, this. Well, Stephen Wilson gets this, 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 this. He gets it
Oh,
all.
really?
Oh my God, yeah. Like 4 or 5 days later, that I'm fine. But it's just look, my immune system is not the greatest, so
Right.
it's a battle all the time. So whenever the doctor recommends that I get a vaccine, I'm not going to say no, but I'm also preparing for the idea that I may be out cold for the next 3 or 4 days. But still, get
Right.
your vaccinations. Don't listen to people that say don't. Get your vaccinations, damn it.
Con-
But on a different, happier note, although this kind of relates,
I
we're
was just
talking.
going to say, this is still thinking that we're old and that
I
we
know.
have a list now to go through to make sure that we accomplish the things that we want to do
Well,
before we kick the
look.
bucket.
Well, that's God bless bucket lists, and I think. But when we talked about this topic prior, when I sent it to you, I was going over the stuff that I'd like to do or the things that I would have had on my bucket list if I had a bucket list, and I actually don't. But
Mhm.
I just had it in my mind of what I really wanted to accomplish at a certain point. And there's two things that I really wanted to do. One was to go to culinary school, and I did.
Yep.
Uh, Two, I wanted to travel the world, and I did. Those are the only two things that I really, really, really wanted to get to do with my life.
So your bucket list is done. Now you can
It's
die
kind of done,
happy.
but I know, right? But the thing is that I went online just to see why people create it and or have a bucket list, and there's always personal reasons why people do it. There's aspirations that they want to get done before a certain period, or something's happened to them that makes me think, okay, well, I got to do this. I got to live life, I tell you. But
Yes.
um, often enough, it doesn't always have to be about something dramatic. It also can just be something that you just want to do.
Yeah.
And just to say, like, Connie, what do you have? Like, what would you, besides doing this fabulous podcast?
Yes. So and that's exactly with you saying that you've accomplished two of the things. I accomplished two of the things as well. I wanted to write books
Yeah,
and I have published. I wanted to do this podcast with you
yeah.
and we're doing it. So I've accomplished it, but there's still stuff that I have on my
Like what?
bucket list.
Like what?
Well, when I went online and it said that, to break your bucket list down into like categories. So you have your travel and adventure, your personal growth, oh, the big dreams and wild goals and fun and ridiculous goals, and then things to try. So, within the travel and adventure, any of the traveling that I did was always with work. So it wasn't um,
It wasn't fun.
pleasure.
Yeah, it
Right.
wasn't pleasure. Yeah.
So there's a lot of places that I want to
Tell me
go
where.
to.
Where would you like to go?
Most of it is Italy, right? So I
Right.
want to go to Sardinia.
Yeah.
I want to go to both Monte Cassino because my mom's from there, and
Yeah.
Pagino because that's where my dad is from, and
Mhm.
Modica, which is where David's family's from. But then because the trilogy that I wrote, a lot of it takes place in different places. So I'd like to go see those places. I did travel them, I guess, if you could say, I went on YouTube and I walked through the streets because you can do that now. You can do
Right.
virtual traveling,
Yeah.
which is kind of neat, especially as a writer when you're writing about something and you want to be able to get the feel of the land or know what's around you. So those places would be Toulon, France, Casadega, Florida, which is a very odd um
Yeah.
place when I
Right.
looked up the highest concentration of witches in the United States, obviously thinking that I was going to get Salem, Massachusetts, but it's Casadega, Florida, has the highest concentration of witches, which is very strange.
So that's cool. That's interesting. Well,
Yeah.
Salem probably takes all the oxygen because it's
Say,
so
right.
famous, right?
Right. But
So
it's
what's the
more
difference? Why
it's
what
I think what it is Casadega has actual people who identify as
okay.
witches or practice witchcraft or practice Wicca, and where Salem is historically where the witch hangings
Right.
were,
It's
and
pretty cool, Con. I didn't know that.
yeah,
That's all right. Okay.
yeah.
Where
So
else?
that's that.
Actually, that's really cool.
Now I'm going to be saying this wrong because it is in Welsh.
Okay.
But I will say it as Llanflegan Abbey, but I think it's like something like Llanflegan Abbey or something like that in Wales, because that is where my first book actually takes place for the majority of the time. It does start off in Lincoln Castle and Drury Lane in England, but those are two other places. And then, of course, the beaches of Maldives. I would
Oh,
love
hmm.
to just it's
Oh,
just,
that one.
you see it, right? And you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my god, I wanna lie in that water."
Oh, Connie, that is yeah, I'm with you on that one. That
Yeah,
one is that one's I guess I could potentially go on a bucket list thing or just something that, you know what, I'm gonna do it. Forget the
yeah.
bucket list. I'm definitely gonna do it. But I love the list. I think that's interesting. It's very varied. I love the fact that
And
your travel experiences aren't typical. They're specific, which is
right.
really rare because people when they put out the idea of I just want to travel, let's go. That's what I did. Like I when I set out for my own travels, I had a wonderful travel agency called Base Camp Travel, and the woman that I dealt with, Megan Yash, became practically a good one of my close friends because we spent months planning this huge worldwide trip. And
Mhm.
she was the one that would point out certain places because in my head I didn't have a specific idea as to what I wanted to see. I just wanted to do it and just get out
Right.
there. In hindsight, sometimes it's actually a good to have an idea. Like
Yeah,
this is what I really want to see. This is what I
yeah.
really want to
And because
experience.
of X, Y, and Z.
Exactly. Exactly. But I have no regrets.
Yeah,
None. It was honestly the most amazing experience. I'm very glad that I wrote about it because
yeah.
the problem of getting older is you forget. You're
Yes.
right. So I'm
Yep.
forgetting stuff, but I can go and look and stuff and think, oh yeah, I did
And
do
that's
that. Oh
on Hungry Traveler, isn't it?
yes, but we don't need to. I don't need no people to to go
Oh,
and look for
why?
it.
It's so good.
Oh, it's horrible. I was reading it now. I'm like, Jesus, stop babbling for God's sake.
No, it's very
Anyway,
good.
um, but yeah, I'm glad I did that, and that was actually a suggestion by a chef friend to chronicle your travels.
Mhm.
That's important. But
Yeah.
anyways, what else you got on your bucket list there?
So within the travel, it said to break it down. So you have dream
Yeah,
destinations, which were the first ones that I told you.
right.
And then you have extreme, and then road trips, and then cultural experiences. So extreme adventure, I don't know how extreme they really are. So a Sahara Desert on camelback,
Yeah,
um, Kenyan safari,
very cool.
and whale watching. So not very extreme. I'm not doing anything. I'm not repelling or,
It's
you know,
it's it's not about that. It's about what you want to do.
yeah.
It's what excites you.
Yeah. Would you
right?
do anything extreme as far as travel goes?
Now, oh, I don't think this body could handle that. It's had its day. Um, I
Did you
think
ever do anything extreme? Like when you were traveling all over the place, did you do any of the parasailing or the hang gliding or any of that stuff?
well, I didn't do that stuff, but I did get to there's certain things that you got to do, and one of them was a helicopter ride up to a glacier, and they
Mm.
landed. This is in New Zealand. I forgot about this, and it was just me and this other girl and the helicopter pilots, and we got to fly around this glacier in the southern part of New Zealand, and then land on top of this part of the mountain, and it was glorious. It was
Mm.
just one of the most incredible experiences, and there's a couple of things that I got to do like that. But um, when I was in Australia, one of the itinerary items, two of them was to go to the place where the dingo ate her baby, and
Yeah, the
out there,
outback.
yeah, and to scale Sydney Harbour Bridge. And unfortunately, because I was dealing with a lot of health issues at that point, I
Right.
couldn't. I couldn't, and I really, really regret that. That's the two things that I really regretted that I didn't
Yeah.
get to do. But mostly, my trip was very. This is going to sound elitist, and I apologize for that, but it was not at all geared towards adventure. It was more geared towards comfort and pleasure and chill.
Yeah.
But I take nothing back. I think it was exactly what I
No.
needed at that point. It was very, very high end, and I spent quite a bit of money doing this. And I'm not sorry, but I do wish that I had a little bit more time to experience some of the other places. I didn't do the adventure stuff. I just did more of the touristy stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's okay.
that's fine.
That's okay.
Yeah.
How about a road trip? Have you ever been on a road trip? I know how much you love driving.
Shut up. As a kid, yeah, I mean, we did a lot of road trips, and it was
Yeah.
great.
Where did you
Florida,
guys go?
Maritimes, Quebec.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, we went camping a lot. Manitoulin Island. We were a road trip family,
Mhm.
but
I think
older
I think a
older
lot
me,
of people back
I
in
don't
the
know.
'80s, I think Gen X, that was your traveling,
Totally.
your vacation time was spent road tripping where you'd kinda go and make these different destinations.
You knew when something was coming when your parents would pull out the old maps and start
Yes.
planning, and then you knew that. Like my dad was okay. It's vacation time, so we knew we were going to go somewhere fun. It was
Yeah,
always somewhere fun, and those are the greatest memories because
yeah,
simplicity and
yeah.
just easy. And we were great in the car. My sister and I, we just had our books, and we we'd be entertained on that stuff alone. It was great.
Mhm.
But did you? Did
Oh,
you get to
yeah,
do a lot
no,
of
and
that?
that's how we learned how to read a paper map
Yeah,
and
right.
to know
And
how
still,
long going a certain speed, how
mhm,
long, each, I guess, inch or few centimeters it was gonna take to get to a place by measuring on the map. That's a lost art. Even folding the map, it's
I
a
could still
lost
see
art.
it. You could still see it pulled out in the car on the hood of the car when they would spread it out and say, "Okay, this is where we are." Blah blah. And I love that. I love map reading.
Mhm.
That's my degree is in geography, and I love maps.
Yeah,
And just just the excitement of having and seeing the whole trip planned out that way. Yeah, I loved it. Love road trips. But go on. What's your other ones?
yeah. So there is this one guy on TikTok who is chronicling his road trip. He's going from the Arctic down to the Antarctic without flying. He's driving the West Coast. He was at the North Pole and then he went through Alaska and then BC. He's in South America, I think, right now,
Cool.
which I'm just like, that is so. There's something about it that I would love to have that on my
Oh
bucket
yeah.
list. Now,
Yeah.
I mean, he's doing it alone. As a woman, I don't think I would ever do that on my own. This could be even my ignorance, but me going through South America, I don't know how safe I would feel.
Yeah, I get that. I
Yeah.
traveled alone. I
Yeah.
traveled. I did this world thing alone.
Yeah.
And part of the places that I picked too wasn't just for touristy reasons, but also for safety reasons.
Right.
There's, a black gay man traveling by himself can you don't know what you could face. However, because I had a really good travel agent and we discussed everything, and all the places
Mhm.
that we picked and everything else was designed to make sure for safety. You can't predict everything,
No, no, but
but
as safe as you can be.
right, but you shouldn't let that stop you either, Con. And
No.
I know there's plenty of women out there. I get exactly what you're saying, and there's places that you absolutely shouldn't be going alone. But you shouldn't ever let that stop you either from wanting to experience
Yeah.
stuff either,
There
right?
is a women's trip that I would love, love, love to
What is it?
do. It is, in Italy
Yeah,
where you are hiking the Dolomites, and but it's a group, right? So
yeah,
it's a group of women,
fine.
and I think that's if I was to do
That's
it
fair.
on my own,
Yeah,
that would be how I would do it.
I agree. Look,
Yeah.
you just we live like our world is an interesting place. We know this. We've seen it,
Yes.
and there are some very unsavory people out there. That's just
Yes,
the way it is,
unfortunately.
and you never know. But again, I always say, please don't let those stories and those experiences, which are horrible when it does happen, there's no question,
Mhm.
but it's greater out there than you think it is. And I think if people are inspired, especially women, want to go out there and do it. But
Yeah.
find a way to do it that's going to be as safe as possible. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, and make
And
you
men
feel
too.
safe, right? Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely. Now, in the personal growth, um,
Yeah.
part of the bucket list, one of them was facing your fears, and I don't think I have anything that I need to face. My fears. I don't even know if I have fears. Like, I'm not afraid of spiders or snakes or anything like that. There's nothing that, maybe heights. Do I need to go on a suspension bridge that, how you see it in Asia? I think there's those long suspension bridges that are within their mountain system. And
Yeah.
I don't really need to face that. It's not gonna be like, yeah, I did it and I conquered that fear. I'm good. How
I
about you?
think I can't. That's a good question. I don't have that sort of personal fear. Uh, I don't. That's a good question. I have to think about that one. I do. Go on.
Yeah.
What's the next one?
So cultural experiences, and I
Cultural.
got this one on TikTok. I saw this TikTok and it was going through all the things that you should do before you die. And I was like, oh my God, these are all the things that I want to do. One is Christmas in New York.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah. I've been there around Christmas time, but I never spent Christmas in New York. Um, cherry blossoms in Japan,
Hmm.
so springtime.
Yep.
Summer in the French Riviera,
Hmm.
which I mean, that would like kill two birds with one stone because Toulon, France is in the French Riviera. So,
Yes. Yep.
autumn in Edinburgh.
Ah,
Yeah.
lovely.
And it looks like when I was watching the video, I was like, oh my God, this looks so
It
is
is
so me,
beautiful. It's
like it's
beautiful
the
there.
getting to wear my sweaters and, jeans and some nice leather boots. That is my look.
I love it.
And then winter in the Swiss Alps.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's serious stuff. I like that. I like
Yeah.
everything that you said. Everything
Yeah.
there is, and it can happen. It
Yes, it
just,
can.
it
I just
can.
have to win the lottery.
What is it? If you
That
can
is
dream it,
usually the thing that stops people from doing things is the finances,
I
right?
guess in my head though, Con, I think if you can dream it, you can achieve it. If you really want it, you can find a way to get it.
Yeah.
And you won't have to wait till lottery or anything like that. If you want it, you'll find a way to get it. It's
Yeah.
just it's you've done that your whole life. Why would it stop now?
Right.
And I think one of the reasons why too that I wanted to do my bucket list a little bit earlier is because a lot of the times I think a lot of people put their dreams when I retire and blah blah blah.
Right.
And I think, okay, fine, you've got a family to raise or you've got this to do. I decided not to do that. First of all, because I don't have a family to raise.
No. It makes a huge difference.
It does make a huge difference. But I also was becoming more increasingly aware of the fact that I was becoming sick. Like I was having issues with my arthritis and didn't know it, but knew things were happening. And
Right.
if I didn't take advantage of my healthier state, who knows what would become of me at this age or as I get older. And now this is where I'm grateful that I did the bucket list stuff now more than ever. Because as
Mhm.
things start to slide a little bit south, I can look and think, okay, thank God, at least I had some of the energy, way more than I did before. And that's why I think people need to think about their bucket lists in terms of what they can
Earlier.
achieve now. If
Right.
you can think of a way to squeeze in that little trip, set aside if you can a little bit of money here, a little bit there, to do that painting job or go to that culinary class or just go for a walk in the mountains that you've always dreamed of,
Mhm.
then think about that. Don't let life stop you from planning
Living.
this stuff, for living. Thank
Yeah.
you. Living. You know? And that's why sometimes with these bucket lists, I see the value. I can understand it, and I think it's a great thing to have in your head. But what's the point of having it if you don't want to do it? If you don't want to
Right.
work
Well,
towards
and,
doing it?
like you said, a lot of people do wait until they have retired, which is
Which is
65, and
fine.
unfortunately, how many of us have heard of people retiring and then, like, a couple weeks after they retire, they die?
Well, exactly. I mean, how many times have we seen or heard people say, I regret, I regret, I
Yeah.
wish I had, I wish I had.
Yeah, and nobody's
That's
wishing that they
heartbreaking.
had stayed at work.
Exactly. It- We all have to live and we all have to eat.
Well,
We
right.
need it. And
And with things
again,
getting more and more expensive too,
oh,
it
yeah.
makes it more difficult.
Now, I'm going to put a caveat in terms of my own bucket list and how I achieved it. I did it because, again, at the time, I was going through my own personal things. My partner had just passed, and I needed to do something just to kind of get
Right.
inspiration and back into the life, into living. Now, I will also caveat that with my brain was probably also dealing with grief. So I wasn't able to fully get into the whole experience of
Yeah.
what I was doing. So there's the rub.
Yeah.
Fabulous. I did the bucket list. Not fabulous because I still wasn't in the greatest of states to really appreciate everything until now. I did appreciate culinary school though. I absolutely loved every minute of those
Did
two
you do that
years.
after?
After
Yeah.
I quit my job and signed up for George Brown Culinary School Management and was the happiest. I was. It was even in that moment when things were not great personally. I
Right.
was. This made me very happy,
Mhm.
and I regret nothing about any of the choices that I made. And that's another thing that people do is like they think, oh, you know, I regret that I made that choice. Well, don't. I mean, this is part of the journey. We all make mistakes, but don't let
Yeah.
it stop you either. Think of what you want to do and try to get there.
Yeah.
There's nothing worse than regrets. Nothing.
No. No. And, like, there are things that you can have on your bucket list that don't have to cost you money,
There's that too.
meaning writing a book. I have heard as an author, and as somebody who has led, writing classes, and been in the writing community, I've heard so many people say the number one things is to begin and finish and publish writing a book.
Yeah,
So,
which is a
because there's a lot
huge
of people that have
achievement.
a lot of beginnings of books,
Right.
and it's not
But
gonna cost you anything.
but you've also done something remarkable, which is to publish. So you
Yes.
did you started it, yes, like everyone else, but you finished it, Con.
Yeah.
And that's something to celebrate
Oh,
more than
absolutely. It's like one
right?
of my biggest accomplishments.
Oh my God, this is a huge deal. Like
Yeah.
I'm very proud of Connie. Like I love her writing and I love her books. And I don't think, I mean, and it's not to blow smoke up her ass because that's not what I'm doing here. It's just I marvel having read so much about other authors who have, they struggle as they're writing and realize this is a long process and it's a big deal to
Yeah.
spend your time in your head trying to write down and write a story, not just for yourself, but you're going to be sharing this with people. So it's a
Yeah.
great deal of your life that you're putting out there. way more than a podcast.
And you're not well, no, the
It's
podcast is
different. No,
huge
it's
too. I
different.
love
It's
doing it.
This is different because
Yes.
writing is very very different, and I think and she doesn't underplay this. Connie doesn't underplay her accomplishments, but sometimes I think she does, and I think she shouldn't. This is I'm so proud of that for her.
Thank
She is
you.
This is a big deal. So that's a big
Yeah.
deal. That's a big bucket list thing. It's a huge
Yeah.
achievement. So I'm proud of
Thank
you.
you. Thank you. But what another thing that I would love to do,
Yeah.
again, not costing any money, would be to win a podcast award.
Oh God.
I
Wow.
think that would be like, how rewarding would that be? And
Okay.
again,
Okay.
both of these things, both the writing my books, plural,
Yeah.
and doing the podcast, funny enough, I wish maybe I should like go at it with a different mindset, but none of it is to make money.
No. This. Oh God.
Got it. If it
No.
was, I'm doing it very, very wrong.
Completely. It's look. I think I'm with you on. I would never have thought this would have been on a. This isn't a bucket list thing for me. This was a surprise.
Yeah.
Um, and I treat it as that every day because I think it takes the pressure off a
Mhm.
lot, and it just becomes more of a. I get to do this with my best friends. I get to just hang out and just blab, and hey, if people want to listen to it, great.
Yeah.
But I have no illusions into thinking that this is going to be anything other than what it is.
No.
And I think I love that. But I know my friend here, she's got ambitions. So
Yes.
who knows what's going to happen based on her mindset, because she, again, what I said earlier, if you believe it, you can achieve it. Um and I will say, I will add one thing about a bucket list. And this is just, it's a weird thing to add. But for me, it's just, I'm 54 and I think I'm starting to get more
You're not
comfortable.
54 yet.
I will be, yeah, 53. I will be 54 in my 54th year. But as I get older, I'm starting to settle a little bit more into me. And the bucket list, I think now is just, this is personal. This is the personal thing you were talking about. It's
Mhm.
just now to start get more comfortable in my skin and enjoy my life. And one of the things that I really want to enjoy my life with is with Jim, and
Right.
spending and having this time with him and spending our time together, which is an odd thing to have on a bucket list, but there's something to be said about having this ideal of wanting to have a life remaining with this special man.
Mhm.
And I'm looking forward to that. And I don't think I can add anything else to that. I just want to see what we can do together. And
Right.
that's
That's
I
so
never ever
lovely.
thought that I could ever be in that spot, because sometimes gay life can be a little bit lonely. Well, I think that's part of my own personal bucket list. So there we go.
Mhm.
I'll just say that. When he starts to cry. Sorry, Connie.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh God, he's gonna hate that. I'm just babbling about him too. Sorry, Jim.
I'm sure he's gonna love it.
He does. Anyways, that's good. But
Yeah.
what else did I see here on in terms of what else? Um, Making a positive impact on the world.
Yes,
For
I
some,
saw that too, like the giving back.
yeah. Do you think that that's a bucket list thing, or is that something that, oh my God, without sounding like
I
Oprah, is
don't
that something people should do every single day of their life?
Right. I don't know. It hit me really weird because I was like, giving back as a bucket list. What does that look like? Is that donating money? Is that donating time? Working at a soup kitchen? I mean, those are things that you don't have to set out, just go do.
Do you think it needs to be? Well, how about this as an example? We one time we went out for breakfast, and my mom and her husband and Jim and I, and it's not longer there, mom's pantry. We had breakfast. There was a woman that was sitting by herself, and we kind of engaged with her a little bit, said hello, just had a little bit of
Mhm.
brief banter. Very nice lady. She ate her breakfast. We were just with ourselves talking, and we had our breakfast. And then the bill came, and then the waitress said, it's okay. It's been taken care of. And I went, what? She goes, oh yeah, the woman that was sitting at the table across from you, she paid for your breakfast. I went, she did? I couldn't, I couldn't get my
Yeah,
head. I just, the sheer kindness of that is how you can do with a
right.
very quiet way
Yes.
without, like, people say, I'll pay for your Tim Hortons coffee for the people behind them,
Oh, yeah.
but little things too, right?
Yeah.
Little
Yeah.
things.
Yeah.
I have a question though about, would you support your children if they have their own bucket lists, which I'm sure they do?
Mhm.
How supportive are you? Like, do you support all of their ambitions and dreams? Do
Oh, of
you, or
course.
and what they would like to do?
Absolutely.
No questions.
Absolutely.
No, no, no. Well, maybe you should think about that, or maybe you should do this instead. Or
No, that's
okay,
their life. There's at no point in time would I ever we are a very tight-knit family, but I've also told them, "Go travel the world, live for a year in England or Spain or France or Italy or whatever, go to Japan or go to Australia. And if you needed to move far away, do that. Do not worry about me." Um, because I was always afraid to leave. So I don't want them to have that same kind of
fear.
fear that if they're gone far, they're not going to be here when they're needed. Jack, he's going to be leaving at the end of the month for Alberta
Yeah,
to do another year of wildfires.
I know. I
I
could feel
laugh,
that.
but you know,
Oh, Connie, I see your face. We talked
yeah,
about this. The words not matching the face.
yeah,
So yeah, I know, but it's what he needs to do
oh yeah,
to, right, and you recognize
absolutely,
that. And it's interesting what you said about when you were younger, about that fear of just getting out there because you didn't want to leave the family unit type of thing,
right,
or right. And I was the opposite. I, even in high school, I couldn't wait to get out there,
yeah,
just to go to, well, school in Toronto, and then from Toronto, I couldn't wait to see the world, and so I went to the UK, and then did this program where I got to work there, and I couldn't wait, and
yeah,
I did those things
that's great.
because it was at the time, it
Hmm.
was because I needed it. It was a struggle just
Hmm.
being in my brain. And there were so many things that I needed to deal with. And at times it felt like I was running away more than I was actually running to something. And there's truth to both. But
Hmm.
like I said at the beginning of our program, no regrets
Yeah,
with decisions. Everything leads to something. And that's why even now, I think with parents, if your kids do have their dreams and ambitions and their own bucket list that they want to achieve something, I do think it's part of your job to make sure that they're able to do it in any
oh,
way you can.
absolutely,
And I'm not going to preach to people because I don't have children, but I
yeah,
but I was a child, and I know how important it is to have that support. So even if you're scared,
yeah,
know
oh,
that they need to do this. They need to
exactly,
they need to be out there and see and do and
and
have
try
fun
as many
too.
different things.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the way I look at it. That's just what I think.
Do you have anything that's weird on your bucket list? Or not
Like in what
weird,
way?
but like, okay, so for me, a lot of a lot of the stuff that I would put under not weird, because it's not weird. It's more active for me. Would be to walk the caminos in Europe. So there's a camino in Spain where you walk from one end of Spain to the other end of Spain. There's one in France as well, and one in Italy. Um, and or hike the Amalfi Coast, or like I said, the Dolomites in Italy as well, where you're going around the mountains. It's this long hike, and your bags get shipped to the next spot that you're staying at.
Yeah.
Or even this is my biggest one would be hiking across Canada or
Wow.
cycling across Canada. And I when I say cycle across Canada, I don't mean like one of those like the 10 speed bikes.
Yeah.
I mean the like a nice comfortable wide seat.
Yeah, yeah, no, I get it.
I want it to be a comfortable
Um,
ride. And
no,
I
I
don't
totally
mean
get that.
camping in between either. It's like you ride to one Airbnb to the next.
And that see, this like younger us would be like, we're okay
Yeah, I would have camped.
with oh yeah, with going to a
Slept
hostel, camp,
outside just in
whatever. It's
a
totally fine.
yeah,
Now, no, comfort and necessity. Um,
absolutely in a
the one thing,
shower.
I guess the one thing that I would have was not on my bucket list, but it turned out it was because I had done it earlier. I went to Iceland and I got to, again with glaciers, I got to snowmobile on a glacier in this remote part of Iceland, and it was phenomenal. I could still hear myself going "Woo!" on the
Snowmobiling
snowmobile.
is so much fun.
Oh my god, it was the greatest. My friend David, I had to actually I've never really ridden a snowmobile before. Surprise.
Yeah.
And
Oh, they're
and so
so
I was
fun.
really nervous. So I had wrote to him when I was in Iceland, said, "So to go over the basics with me again, just to make sure I know what I'm doing." And we got to, and when I got there, it was just myself and these two other tourists. There's three of us. It was, Connie, the greatest experience ever. It was so beautiful and
Oh,
quiet and
yeah.
amazing. And snowmobiles are the
They're
oh,
so fun.
that was that was oh
Yeah.
wow. I still, now I think about that, I'm glad I did it. Now I don't know if I could. There's just it's like too much stiffness with the bones and
Yeah.
turning the, everything. It would have been
Well,
too
and you're
hard.
you're having to sit in a certain way the whole
Absolutely. And
time.
doing and having to lean over when you're doing the turns, it's
Yeah.
like there's no way now. So I'm
Yeah.
again, this is where I'm glad
That you got to
again
do it.
that I got to do it at the time
Yeah,
I
and
did.
I think a lot of people have to actually think about that as well
I
because
do.
nobody knows what our health is going to be like in 10 years from now. We go
Yeah.
to the doctors, we have our checkup and our yearly visit, and they tell us at this age, oh, your cholesterol's high, your
Yeah.
sugar levels are high. And who knows what that's going to bring if we don't get any of that down or change our ways. And most of us don't change our ways. We just
Well, that's the
continue
thing. I mean,
on.
that's why that's why I keep going back to the idea of, it's great to have a bucket list,
Yeah.
but if it's possible for you to start accomplishing things earlier rather than waiting simply
Hmm.
because you don't know what's going to be coming your way, uh, I would recommend that if you can.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be, like you said, expensive. It just has
Yeah.
to be something that you just want to start doing,
Yeah.
right? Before
Yeah. That you
before
want to
life
have
and age,
accomplished. Yeah.
right?
No. Have you seen The Reluctant Traveler with Eugene Levy on Apple TV?
I watched a little bit of it.
Oh my God. It is so funny. He's hilarious, but he does a whole bunch of things that, again, are outside of his comfort zone.
Yeah,
And some of them are weird. He does a safari, and now there are no holds bar on the amount of money that's being spent.
of
Obviously, it's for a
course.
TV show.
Right.
So he's with this tracking team that in Africa that are tracking this elephant, and they need to check on the elephant, do a little checkup. It kind of reminded me of aliens
Oh my
coming and
god.
checking on us because he literally has to probe the elephant with his arm, and he has this, like, plastic glove all the way in.
Oh,
He's like, because they have to check, and all I thought was, "Hmm, that's what the
that's
aliens are actually just doing to us."
oh my god.
All these people complaining, they're just making sure we're healthy.
Oh my god. Although although, Con, two things that popped into my head now that you mentioned this. I love animals.
Mhm.
I don't wanna ride an elephant, but I would love to be around them because
Yeah.
they're such beautiful, beautiful creatures, and they're not gentle. Like, let's make no mistake,
Yeah.
but
No, they're animals,
they're
they're
so
wild animals.
smart and beautiful and magnificent, and I would love to be in an environment where I can be around all sorts of animals.
Yeah.
Not too close, but just where I can see them and be
Yeah.
around that. And the
Oh,
other thing was what you had said about Italy. And it made me realize just how much I wanted to do the culinary tour
oh, yeah.
from now, north to south or south to north, wherever, and eat my way through that country. And and
I don't think you're alone on that
oh no, no,
bucket
it is
list.
honestly, it is, Italy is the place. I love France and I love French cooking, and that is my background. But Italy, from top to bottom, eat, 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 eat,
Yeah.
and cook, and go to
Yeah.
culinary school and do
Mangia e sta zitta.
ah
Eat and be quiet.
yes, that would be it, Con, and drink and beautiful wines and
Yeah.
oh, that would be honestly a 2 or 3 month thing where I
Oh,
could just
yeah.
sit and eat and relax
Yeah, and you'd
and
actually,
live the
because
life.
you're in Italy,
Yeah,
you probably end up losing weight.
I agree.
Like, you wouldn't gain weight, like, if you were to eat your way through America,
Yeah,
you know?
people don't believe that. It's true.
Yeah, and
It's you're abs
you're eating carb.
one of the main reasons it's a healthier lifestyle because of the
Yeah,
walking.
yeah,
So yeah. Anyways, that's now it
that
comes
would
to me
be
about it.
you know what? When you talked about animals and being with the elephants, the one
Yeah,
thing that I have been continuously saying, because it's been my reprieve from all the negative news that's out there,
yeah.
I want to be a panda handler in China. And just like cuddle with them and watch them, and because they're so silly and so stinking cute.
Ah,
I watch these videos like probably
yes.
2 or 3 times a day, and it just lifts my spirit
Oh, did you
and
see that
reminds
one
me
with
to
the
ignore
panda?
everything else.
You see the one with the panda gameskeeper who keeps putting the panda back up and it keeps coming
Yes.
down and hugging its leg.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. Oh, you're right. Just to be around animals, there is a comforting,
Yeah. And
quiet.
just because 'cause they're so silly.
Oh, wow. We I did get a chance to see orangutans, and in Indonesia, it was a special trip, and it was 3 days out in this part of Indonesia, and it was incredible. And they're not little.
No.
They are absolutely huge. And so the king snuck up behind us
Oh,
and
you're
scared
kidding.
the living crap out of us, and we ran. And then, but he was just curious, but we don't know that.
Mm-mm.
But then
I
everyone
don't
start
think that they're like, chimpanzees, where chimpanzees will rip your face off. They'll
right.
eat your
It
face.
turns out he was just curious. It was glorious to see those animals,
Oh,
just
I'm sure.
magnificent, Connie.
Yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful creatures, and their homes are being destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, that was wonderful.
Is there anything that was on your list when you were younger that would no longer be on your list? Like, you have no desire to try it or do it or anything now?
Uh, I think I think what changes is how you do it more than not wanting to do it. I would say it would just change rather than stop or like
Yeah.
it's shifted into more adult mode, but I still do it. What about you?
I don't have anything that I would have removed. Like, so I've
Neither.
always been a fairly cautious person. It's not like I was like this wild person that was like trying all these different I was not. So doing wild stuff would never have been on my list to begin with. There's things that are on my list now that were never on my list before.
Like what?
And I think it's because I'm older and
Yeah.
I'm thinking, let's try it. You
Like
know,
what? Give me an example. Like what?
okay, this is going to be something that I would love. I can't believe I'm going to say this. I would love to try microdosing mushrooms.
Oh,
Never in my youth would I have ever, because I don't do stuff like that, right?
right.
I don't drink, I don't smoke pot, I don't do anything. But there's
Neither do I.
something about there's something about microdosing mushrooms that intrigues me,
Right.
and I don't know why.
Okay. I was smiling. That's all I'm doing. As I'm
Yeah,
just
he's not gonna add his
I can't
opinion in
I
that.
can't I can't because people listen and I'll just leave it. But I will say that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've said
Um.
it to I've said it to my kids before too. I said, "I wouldn't mind trying that." I think it's because as I was younger,
Yeah.
one, I was afraid of what it would do to my brain, and
Right.
And now that I'm older, I'm like, oh well, my brain's already old. What more can it? So yeah.
Wow. Um, well,
I don't know
I
if I
think,
ever will because I'm like I said, I'm a chicken. I don't do stuff like that.
well, it's not scary. It's I think you'd laugh your ass off. To be
Oh, I'm sure I
honest.
would.
I know. I know you'd laugh your ass off. I think you'd have a good time. Um, but
And
that's
it would have to
interesting.
be in a very safe environment.
I thought you were gonna say something like, "Is join a nudist colony" or something like that.
I would
Um,
never join a nudist colony.
I'm concur with
Yeah.
myself, not you.
Yeah.
Just,
Even when I
but
was younger, I would not have done that. That's not something.
so are you telling me that you've always all your decisions have been more safety led? You're not. You weren't. You didn't want to go outside of just this lane that you've created for yourself.
Right. I'm not a
So
risk taker.
that's interesting, Con.
Yeah.
Why? Why didn't
Why?
you? Yeah,
I don't know.
is
I think
you're
I'm a
the
good
oldest.
girl.
Oh, I thought
I
it's because you were
think
the
that's what it
oldest.
is. I think it's the thing of not being good.
Got it.
I
Oh,
actually do think that that's a lot of that whole thing.
that is a psychological profile discussion because honestly, Con is the oldest. I am the youngest in my family. And there's a very big difference
Oh,
between
yeah.
how the oldest and the youngest. There's no question. The
Yeah.
freedoms
Rule follower.
that younger siblings have compared to the older ones, like it's true.
Yeah.
The responsibilities are way higher on an older person. There's more of a sense that you need to be responsible.
Yes.
So whether you like it or not, and whether
Yeah.
that was put on you or not, that's there.
Mhm.
Whereas for me, all the stuff that you've said that you wish you could try, it's like, well, okay.
Dun, 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 dun,
It's
dun.
yeah, okay, I understand. However, I wouldn't let things get in my way of I would never let things get in my way of what I wanted to do.
Mhm.
I've always been that person, and whether it's led to right decisions or not, I've always
Mhm.
been that person. And you don't you kind of realize that having that ability to just kind of do it without fear is in some ways freeing,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
there's also there are there are issues sometimes around having that sort of freedom because without guardrails you're also free to do stupid things too, things that could cause trouble.
Right.
But as long as you're I think the thing is as long as you have a pretty good head on your shoulders and recognize where the limit is,
Yeah.
you can manage. But I do think for people like you who led a more careful existence, having that freedom, once you get a taste of it, I worry. I worry for Connie. I
All
worry
of
if
a
I'll
sudden,
ever
it's
see
gonna
her
be like,
again. I'll never see her again. She's gone.
I don't know.
but but yeah, that's an interesting thing to have on your bucket list. I
Yeah.
concur. I think you should. Anyways,
Maybe we'll get together and do it.
maybe.
Oh, and we could do a podcast while doing it.
Oh my god.
That would even make it better.
I would
See, I
laugh
go
my
from like I'm a good girl to
see?
oh, we can.
Look, see, it's in her. It's totally in you. It's that makes you more dangerous than you can imagine. Because it's there. Oh, that would be a funny podcast. And we would look back going, what the hell? It would be a private
What
podcast.
were we talking
What were we
about?
thinking? Oh my god. But
We'd have to do it
anyway,
in person though. It couldn't be like this.
oh, I agree. But I will say though, for people that are wanting to put together any sort of future plans, something ambitious to do, or something, just a personal achievement, again, it doesn't have to be a big thing. It can be anything. It could be just, I don't know. I don't know, starting a stamp collection if that's what's if that's what rocks your boat. Just do something that's going to be more than what you think you can do.
Yeah.
And I think it's in everybody.
And I
Just
think it should also be something that you can see through to the end.
yeah,
So if it is writing a book, start and then
yeah,
see it through to the end. And
it's
just because that in itself is such a huge, huge accomplishment. Like you don't realize how proud you can be of
I
yourself for
agree.
doing that.
I get that it's scary, and sometimes I think the harder part is the potential of being judged by
Yeah.
others outside of yourself. And if
Mhm.
those voices are loud, it can be really tough to kind of get yourself together and figuring out what it is that makes you happy.
Yeah.
It really can. And it's just, you got to shut those voices out because they're doing nothing but making it worse for
Yeah.
you. It's about you and your life and what you want to do. Now, I'm not suggesting you ignore the voices that say, don't go rob that bank.
Yeah. Listen to those
within
ones.
reason,
Yes.
within reason, but try to try to do something that you're going to be proud of, that it's only you did, only something that you wanted to do. And like Connie
Right.
said, from start to finish it
Yeah.
off, and you feel better. And with that, that's what we think.
That is what we think. And you can comment and let us know what you think about this, or even let us know what your bucket list items are. You can leave a comment beneath where you
Hmm.
get your podcasts on Apple Music,
Music.
Amazon Music, Spotify,
Yeah.
and
Our home base,
iHeartRadio. Pardon?
yeah. Our home base is Spotify though, isn't it?
Spotify is our home base, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
and
And
iHeartRadio.
yeah. So please, by all means, check it out. Let us know what you think. And of course, I always repeat myself with this, but you can always write into the Connie and Steve at gmail.com if you've got suggestions or any ideas, or just want to vent and say, shut up. It's okay. We're still going to do it, regardless if you say that or not. So, um, but yeah, we look forward to hearing all things from everyone who's listening to
Yes.
us. And thank you for
And
listening.
please give us a follow. We love our followers. The more followers that we have, the more likely we're able to continue doing this. So we are very grateful for each of you.
That's right. And with that said, I love Con. I will talk to you later.
I love you too. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.